G'day everyone, Prep Aussie here. I hope you're well in whatever part of the world you're watching this video. Today is Tuesday the 26th of June 2018 and the time here is 11 AM Australian Eastern Standard Time. Well folks, after the video yesterday, I thought I would make today's video. I've got a couple of things to go through with you, but more about getting ready. You know, what do you class as getting ready, prepared? Is it having a cup full of water in the fridge, to having two 10,000 gallon tanks sitting outside? You know, I guess what I'm saying is everybody's view on preparation is completely different to the other person. Even the most prepared person will find that they have something missing, something very easy. You know, it's just the way it is. The meaning here is you can't prepare for everything. It's not physically possible. You know, there's only so many things you can prepare for, because don't forget you've got to carry this stuff or you've got to transport it. You know, there's so many variables. It's just, you know, there's just no way you can be prepared for everything. What I say to anybody who asks me is prepare for yourself first, because you may be the person that is prepared and all the rest of your family has no idea. But prepare yourself first, so when the shit hits the fan, you'll know exactly what to do for the other people. Basically that's just giving them a bag that you've packed for them and said everything's there, right, let's go, we're going there. Which is another point. Where are you going to? You know, I read a lot of comments where people said, first thing I do is go down the bank and get all my money out. Well, if you're watching this show, like my show and other prepared shows, and you're telling me that's the first thing you're going to do, then I would probably say that you're very wrong. You're not going, there won't be any money. When this goes poof, it'll be like that. It's digital. Money's digital, remember. There is no money. That shit you hold in your hand sometimes, the gold, the plastic and the bloody paper and the coins, that's going to be gone in a second. Poof. What I would have preferred is people said to me, well, a month before the crash, because you are prepared, you know what's going on, then I'm going to draw my money out of the bank and then I'm going to do stuff. Well, even though I'm prepared, the first thing I'm going to do is go down to Coles and Woolies and get a shitload of pasta and a shitload of tuna and, you know, tin stuff, and that's about it. I'm not going to worry about all the other frivolous shit. That's not going to be a concern of mine at all. Shouldn't be yours either. You know, milk, etc., forget it. It's gone. Bread, learn how to make your own. And I'm being serious. That's how this is going to go. So I'd probably, the three things I would get would be flour, tin tuna and pasta. That's it. Everything else is frivolous and you don't need it. But my point about, someone sent me an email this morning, Cindy, and she said, oh, she was out riding, you know, learning to ride a horse on Sunday or something, or riding a new horse on Sunday. And it just, I said thank you to her, because it tweaked my mind to remember to tell you guys. Okay, you're going to get in your car and you're going to drive down the road. You're going to the place that you've picked to be at. Now remember, a car holds 600 kilometres, perhaps, depending on how you drive, of fuel. 2 more jerry cans will get you another 400 k's perhaps. So that's 1,000 k's. Now you're at that 1,000 k's place. How long are you staying there, and how are you getting back if you never need to get back? Because, and look, you all need to understand this. There's not going to be a supply chain when this thing goes poof. And this force-fed environment that we live in, you know, i.e. we get all our food from the shops, isn't going to exist. So how, that includes petrol, how are you going to get back? And when you're there, when you are actually at the place you're going to get to. So say you've driven 1,000 k's, you've got no more petrol. How are you getting home? And not only that, how are you getting around when you're there? Say the next town from where you're going is 20 k's away. How are you getting there? Are you going to walk? Are you going to ride a bike? Get a horse. My point here is, if you guys don't understand this, we're going back to the dark ages when this thing goes poof. There ain't going to be no school buses, there ain't going to be no community buses, there ain't going to be any of that shit. So, how are you getting around? You're going to get to the place you want to go to. How are you getting around? Well, I would advise all of you, if you don't know how to ride a horse, book in for some courses right now and go and learn how to ride a horse. And get yourself familiar with how you're going to do it. And go and buy yourself a bridle, because you might have to go and catch a horse. Learn how to catch a horse and learn how to ride a horse. Because you've all seen the signs, and when this goes poof, it's going to be, I don't know, if you listen to the experts, say Bill Holter, etc., it may be months, it may be a year, it may be more before all this gets swept under the carpet and we start again. And history tells us that when things like this happen, we don't go back to being normal for many, many, many years. Because the reason is because confidence and trust has been broken. So, you know, there's going to be people that, like me, that won't trust the system. I don't trust the system anyway, but I won't trust it at all. At all. The other thing to remember is that when this does finally break, that will be the elites and the New World Order's opportunity to say to people like us, well, you can't have anything unless you buy it. But here's your new chip card, or if you really don't want to carry it around, you know, wallets are useless, money doesn't exist anymore anyway. What do you need a card for? We'll give you one in your hand. We'll give you a tattoo on your forehead. So my point is that things will not go back to normal for a very long time, and they may never go back to normal for some people like me and like us. You know, it's okay to prepare and think we know about what we're doing. We are, and you should be. But the point is that after things have gone south, what you have to plan, I would say you'd have to plan more for after the event than even before the event. Because let's be honest, how hard is it to prepare for the event? Not that hard. You just get a backpack and, you know, all your gear that you think you know you can use, etc. You've got a car, you've got jerry cans, etc. Great. But as I said, you're now standing in a paddock 1,000 k's away from where you were. What's your next move after that? Which is what I'm going to title this video. What's your next move after Plan B? Or at Plan B? It's not such a dumb suggestion, folks, to learn how to ride a horse. I worked as a jackaroo for a couple of years when I was younger, so I know how to ride a horse and know a lot about horses. Haven't ridden one for years, but you don't forget it's like riding a bike if you're taught properly, and I was taught properly. So have a think about that. You know, where are you going, and what are you going to do when you get there, and how are you going to survive, and how are you getting back? So you've got 4 things there that you need to sort out. Here in Australia, we have a community, and we all know where we're going, which is to the Tenterfield area in the Highlands of Australia, up near Armidale, Tenterfield, up that way. Warwick, Stanthorpe, all those areas would be good areas to get to. But remember, And I'm hoping you remember this well. You have to be there before anyone else, because remember, you're prepared. You know what's coming. So when you see all those shops shutting up shop, you're not even there. You're standing in that paddock at plan B. Well, you should be, if you've got any sense. 3 days is as long as most people have food in their house. I'll say that again. The average household has 3 days of food in their house at any one given time, because a lot of people are simply living on the edge and they don't stock up food enough. 3 days. So you've got three. If you decide, okay, well, I'm going to stick it out here in my house, you've got 3 days before things start going bad wherever you are, if you're in a city. And it's even less, after 3 days, you've got 5 days. So you've got 3, 4, and on the 5th day, things start getting violent. That's when people start door knocking. Have you got any food? I need food. No, sorry. Then your door gets kicked in. So there's lots of people that have told everybody this, and it's not just me that's saying this, by the way. And if you really want me to be dead set honest, what I'm preparing for is after. I'm not preparing for the event, I'm preparing more for after. Because you're going to have a life. You may, Bill Holder, for example, take Bill Holder, he's a good example. He said the supply chains might not come back for years, if ever. Because once everything goes poof, those companies aren't there anymore. And then after everything goes poof, who's paying? Who? Say someone wants to start that company up again. Who's going to be the person to start that company? The government? Yeah, we don't know how that's going to work out. They couldn't run a shag at a brothel. But then, if you're in America, everything's okay. Go to the FEMA camp. We've got food, we've got water, we've got all the medicines, we've got doctors and nurses there. Go to the FEMA camp. So you can pick up cholera, dysentery, and every other godforsaken virus that you know of. When people start getting collectively together, influenza. You might as well kill yourself now, to be honest with you, if you're going to go to a FEMA camp, because it ain't going to get you nowhere. And can I just say, if you've got a backpack but you have no motor to get anywhere, or no bike or no horse, make sure you've got good shoes and you can walk somewhere, because if you go to a FEMA camp, you ain't walking out, buddy. So, the point is, what are you doing after plan B? Love to hear the comments. Love to see how people are going to react to that one. How are you getting together after plan B? Or how are you going to, what happens after plan B? And I've said this to you guys before, you can't do this shit on your own. You need a community, and you're running out of time to build a community, and you need to reach out and trust people. And those people in America and Australia, if you're right, you should always be putting where you are, and if anyone actually wants to meet up and start building a community, then I would highly recommend that you do, because we've done it here in Australia and it ain't that hard. Sure, some people may be dickheads or whatever, but who cares? You know, you're always going to find out in life anyway, aren't you? But this much I do know, that when those dickheads after the event, you'll soon tell them that they're a dickhead, whether you want them in your community or not. But here's the other thing, you've got to have some transferable skills to be in the community as well. You can't just be someone who's been on the dole for 20 years and thinks, oh, well, I'm just going to let everyone look after me. That ain't going to happen. So, Anyway, my point is, what happens after plan B? Okay folks, here's the verse of the day. Who can hide in secret places so that I cannot see them, declares the Lord. Do not, I fill heaven and earth, declares the Lord. Wow. I'll read it again. Who can hide in secret places so that I cannot see them? Fools more than anybody, declares the Lord. Do not, I fill heaven and earth, declares the Lord. And as always, folks, we'll finish with the Lord's Prayer. Our Father, which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, in earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our debts as we forgive our debtors. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom and the power and the glory, for ever and ever. Amen. Well folks, I'll leave it there. There's not much else to say. I would like to see comments from people about what I've just spoken about. Part of my job here is to wake people up and to build communities, so I would hope that that's happening in the background. I find there's a lot more distrust in America in regards to that than there is here in Australia, which is I find funny. You kind of got to put that MySpace is MySpace sort of scenario away and start concentrating on being spiritual, patriotic, but more towards leaning towards communities, how we used to live. We've all veered away so much from being able to live in a community that we've forgotten how it feels to actually live in a community. And that's been mainly done to us by the elites as well. Go and live in a city, it's great. What do you want to live in a shithole for? Go and live in a city, it's great. We'll supply everything to you. Yeah, well, my thoughts on that. Anyway folks, prep out.